Hey guys, Kinoflex here, and I'm back with my third part responding to Birdman over his defenses of Ironheart. If you're not caught up, then be sure to check out my previous videos. With that being said, let's begin.
Hi everyone, it's Az here from Heel vs. Babyface.
Oh, good. It's another human pile of dirty clothes.
So it starts off with a soliloquy from Riri, which in my world means something I think completely different to what they think it means. And she talks about how she believes she can be the greatest inventor of her generation. Probably not that difficult, let's be honest. But something's holding her back. She's had all the help from Wakanda. She's had the Stark internship or whatever, but she doesn't have the cash dollar money because the only reason that Tony Stark got to where he was because he was a billionaire. Yeah, I don't think the person that made this watched Iron Man.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
I don't think you did either, because those scraps that Tony used to build his suit and arc reactor were given to him by the 10 rings to build a missile, you fucking idiot. Riri doesn't have someone giving her those materials. Not only that, the arc reactor was based on an idea by Yinsen and the arc reactor they already had at Stark Industries.
Why am I not surprised that you were defending one of the dumbest parts of the show? No, Yinsen alone did not make the miniature arc reactor. He worked together with Tony to make it by saving his life and putting an electromagnet powered by a car battery into his chest to save his life. But Tony was the one who ultimately transformed it into a miniature arc reactor. Tony was able to build something insane with limited resources and with the odds stacked against him. Riri theoretically should be able to build her own version of an arc reactor or some kind of alternative given where she is with better resources at her disposal and how smart she's portrayed to be, yet can't for bullshit reasons.
You're literally playing the scene that shows this.
So the technology actually doesn't exist. So it's
Wait, the technology. Here is the technology. I've asked you to simply make it smaller.
Bird brain, your stupidity is showing again. This scene doesn't support your argument. It refutes it as it communicates that being wealthy is not enough. You need to be highly competent and intelligent like Tony Stark, who did not reveal how he built the miniature arc reactor to everyone else in the movie. The scientist Stain yells at literally tells him that he's not as skilled as Tony Stark despite all the money and resources at his disposal.
Okay, sir, and that's what we're trying to do, but honestly, it's impossible.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not Tony Stark.
I need cash. Money. Do you think Tony Stark would be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire?
Yes.
Well, then you are wrong, sir. Tony was sought after because of his weapons, something that literally wouldn't have existed if his family were of a lower socioeconomic class. No company means no weapons. No weapons means the 10 rings don't abduct Tony and he never becomes Iron Man. This is what she's saying, that his genius coupled with his money allowed him to become who he was. She has the genius, but she doesn't have the money. I can't believe you people have become names in this space. A monkey could do your job.
Well, unfortunately, you're not a monkey since you're definitely not giving him a run for his money with your bad arguments. Again, wealth is neither a barrier for Riri or the primary contributor for why the miniature arc reactor was built. Characters like Whiplash create a miniature arc reactor in far more shittier environments. The biggest hurdle has always been knowing how to build one, not how expensive it costs to make. In Riri's case, she has no excuse because she can buy materials Stark used such as palladium, which costs about $1,200 per ounce right now. She could also extract it from scraps like Tony did by requesting them from her university, or ask her friends in Wakanda to help her. She's a shortcut-taking asshole who becomes a criminal the moment she's met with a challenge. And you, along with the writers for this, are delusional for thinking that Tony is privileged to have been kidnapped by terrorists and thrown into a dirty dungeon because he was able to create something using his own intelligence while his life was being threatened the whole time.
So what does Riri Williams do in an attempt to procure this cash? Does she go and meet her buddies in Wakanda and say, hey, you know that I helped save the world? Can you advance us some coins so I can work on this iron suit? Or give me the vibranium or whatever it is that she needs tech-wise? No, she does what all good heroes do. Immediately turns to crime.
Even if this oversimplification were true, that would be kind of normal for the heroes in the MCU. Scott Lang has been to prison more times than the real Robert Downey Jr. Steve Rogers resisted the Sokovia Accords and became a fugitive along with his two friends, Sam Wilson and James Barnes. Black Widow is a literal assassin. The Scarlet Witch turned an entire town into a television show. Doing the wrong thing for the right reasons is most of the MCU's cast.
And once again, we get more disingenuous examples that aren't comparable, considering Captain America and Black Widow were forced into making those decisions. Wanda's enslavement of a whole town was a result of a mental breakdown and wasn't justified considering she becomes a villain afterwards. And the whole point of Ant-Man's movies is that he wasn't justified for being a criminal in the past, and is redeeming himself by being a hero. Riri, though, has no valid justification in her story to turn to crime.
This is an incredibly weak talking point because heroes usually break the law in some capacity while on their hero's journey. Almost no one starts out on the right side of the law. Hell, vigilantism is a crime, so Spider-Man isn't even safe.
Except we aren't talking about vigilantism. We're talking about her stealing money and leaving people to die. If Spider-Man saw Riri committing crimes, he would arrest her himself and say that she's a disgrace for not using her power responsibly. Also, I like how you call his point weak despite not directly engaging with his criticism of Riri not going to Wakanda to help. You dumb window licker.
I'm kind of confused because if we're the people that always get called racist, etc., why do all the black writers and showrunners immediately turn their black characters into thieves?
One, yes, you are a racist. I mean, you literally can't have a single discussion without saying something racist about black people.
My stepdad,
black girl
used to say
magic.
the best way to know a thing.
My stepdad, because my real dad left me. My stepdad, because my real dad left me.
Do you see how you, without prompting, randomly stereotyped a black person as having an absentee father there, you human tub of Elmer's glue? This is you reacting to a trailer, meaning you don't know that her biological father actually died. So you randomly went into a racist tirade completely unprompted, and you're on a panel with a who's who of racist motherfuckers. And you somehow stood out. Oh, but it doesn't stop there, ass.
What would her Jarvis be called? Jemima?
Jarvisqua. I already said Jarvisqua.
Jaquisha? I think Jamichael works.
I'm going with Shanae. I'm going to go with shit.
Oh, look at that. You and your boyfriends are being very not racist.
I'm going to be completely honest. The only thing these guys did wrong in the clips you showed was being unfunny. Other than that, they're just telling jokes. Goofy ass white boy. Are you seriously using the dark humor defense? When is your vanilla ice cream looking ass finally going to melt? Yes, this is dark humor because poking fun at taboo and uncomfortable subjects for an audience is literally what dark humor is. Them saying this outlandish shit is supposed to be the joke.
Category is people who annoy you. Audience, keep quiet, please. 10 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
I know it, but I don't think I should say it.
5 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Niggers! Huh? Oh.
They're about as racist as Birdbrain is homophobic for implying they're gay as an insult on a panel where some of them are in fact gay. You can find what they said unfunny. I don't find it funny. But you are allowed to make attempts at being funny even if the joke doesn't land. Professional comedians who have joked about much worse have said the exact same thing I am saying.
This is just what she has to say. We are outraged and fired and fired and fired. Name calling. I'm outraged. I am outraged.
You should be outraged.
I am a fool. Now, if I called you a fool,
You know what? People are feeling a new sense of entitlement.
Who are these
to
people
decency in this country?
Who are the people?
A new
How can
sense
you,
of entitlement
Patricia, here's
to
my question. How can you justify a bad joke, a joke that isn't funny? Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
An attempt that isn't funny, doesn't get any laughs, and is about raping the first black woman to ever become the Secretary of State of the United States.
Throw that at me.
Well, why not?
The attempt is what I'm trying to fight for. The joke funny jokes and unfunny jokes are come out of the same birth. That you don't know if anything is going to be funny. You should attempt to be able to make anything funny.
And 2, since when is black writers writing their main characters as a thief a normal thing? Forgive me for assuming here, but someone that looks, talks, and acts like you very likely does not watch a lot of black films, so you'll excuse me if I just disregard this silly talking point. I mean, unless you're trying to tell me that you've seen Higher Learning, Poetic Justice, Boomerang, or Coming to America. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one.
Once again, you don't understand the point being communicated. He is asking why the black writers and showrunners for Ironheart can get a pass writing dumb and tone-deaf black characters and storylines for their shows. And why are you acting as though these movies are sacred texts that can only be accessed with a certain amount of melanin in your skin? For someone who carelessly throws around racism accusations, you sure don't seem to have a problem making racist assumptions about people based purely on how they look.
We've seen it so many times in shows now. It's like they're perpetuating their own stereotype. Just you wait till you get onto the part where she starts killing people.
As a person that has watched all 3 episodes, I'm still waiting for her to start killing people. Maybe you watched the porn parody that Nerdrotic mentioned in his video, because Riri doesn't actually kill anyone in this show so far. Don't know why you would just make that up, but hey, that's why you're you.
That's right. Were you chuds too busy licking your toilet seats clean to pay attention to the show? She didn't kill someone. She just let them to die. You dum-dums. That's right.
Legally speaking, sure, that's the case, but morally, it's just as bad as outright killing the guy, which is why people, including myself, have such a big problem with it, considering how absolutely unnecessary it was for her to do that. And it's very weird to see you continuously try and downplay this, even though you know it's indefensible.
Yeah, my means of fundraising have been a little experimental, says the person that's just come straight out of Wakanda.
You bring this up as if you didn't actually watch Wakanda Forever, because at the end of that movie, Shuri, you know, the monarch of that country, specifically told her that she couldn't have any of the tech they worked on while she was there. The implication was that her job was done and that all Wakandan resources would remain in Wakanda, not to be used outside of the country.
Your suit, it's a great design, but can't let you leave with it. It's all good.
Shuri didn't let Riri keep her suit because it's made out of vibranium, which doesn't translate into her being unwilling to help her out in other ways by giving her money or materials that aren't vibranium. The ending of Black Panther literally shows the Wakandans going into inner cities to build outreach centers to provide the kind of resources Riri is asking for, which she never seeks out. For someone who likes to eat out this movie's ass by calling it the most important film for black people ever made, you sure seem to not remember anything that happened in it.
She then blows up the lab in MIT, breaking this poor guy's arm, but it's okay, because he's white.
This is what these morons do. Randomly say things happen to white people in these media properties because they're white. Remember when I said that these grifters can't get their arguments together? This piglin would have exactly the opposite issue of Tyrone had the criminals been made white. Anyway, what actually happened here is Williams caused an accident in a lab. You know, the place where accidents are not exactly a rare occurrence. This guy got himself hurt by panicking and running away, and this very event is what got Riri expelled. How on earth did this potato that fell on the ground spin this as being okay? He's just making shit up.
Not being able to recognize basic hyperbole is not a good look, Birdbrain, especially when your defense just amounts to blaming the victim of an accident that Riri herself caused. But something that you and Haz are both overlooking is the fact that Riri wasn't simply expelled for that specific accident, but continued accidents caused by her selling her own inventions to students. Admittedly, this is one of the few moments where the show actually calls Riri out on her bullshit, where the dean tells her that she isn't a victim and is actually incredibly coddled to the degree that she has her own specialized classes made to accommodate her. You would think that this would be a learning moment for Riri where she realizes that she's not an underdog and just a bitch, but instead she doubles down by stealing her armor from MIT and going on to commit more crimes, showing that she didn't learn a damn thing. And that scene of the dean calling her out is completely undermined by the fact that MIT still continues to coddle her by not pressing criminal charges against her. The show just allows her to get away with bullshit and expects us to clap like seals.
But then we discover through all this bitching that she actually has a grant for all of this. So why does she need extra money if she has a grant that is paying for this? The AI's been done. The suit's been... I'm sort of confused as to what her actual problem is other than being a greedy cow.
Hey, ass. You might want to slow down on calling folks cows. Just a bit of advice there, Slick. In any case, this argument doesn't make any sense, because the grant was paying for MIT's tuition, not solely the suit, you moron. In what universe do you think an Iron Man-level suit can be paid for just with a school grant? Your head is large, but there doesn't seem to be anything in there.
This was built with a box of scraps in a cave. This has been told to you so many times at this point, but like your hero Riri, you just ignore the obvious because you're under the delusion that if you play dumb, you can just somehow get away with it.
The rest of this video is more of the same, so let's move on to King Grifter himself.
And that's the end of the video, which will naturally bring us to the finale of this little series where I respond to his arguments against Critical Drinker. So be sure to tune in. And if you enjoy the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as leave me a comment letting me know what you guys think. Thank you and have a good one.